Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to this masterclass explainer. If you're a focused learner, someone looking to completely deconstruct and master the core logic of advanced English communication tests, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're doing a highly structured, strategic teardown of the perfect response for celpip speaking Task 5. Now, we aren't going to sit here and waste time talking about basic test formats or rules. Instead, we're jumping straight into the elite techniques, those hidden cultural expectations, and the exact vocabulary you need on your mental whiteboard to deliver a flawless, high-scoring argument. Think of me as your personal exam coach today. Here's a quick look at our syllabus. We'll start with the core logic and that Canadian mindset, navigate some common traps, load up your vocabulary toolkit, and finally, run through a practical 60-second simulation. Let's get to it. Section 1. Core Logic and Culture, the Canadian Mindset. So to really master this, we need to look at the classic compare and persuade conflict. The absolute foundation of mastering Task 5 isn't just about arguing. It's about polite, firm, and really effective communication. We've got the ultimate debate here. A convenient city apartment, specifically a 4.5 with hot water included, pitted against a spacious suburban house. The core logic requires you to persuade your partner, maybe it's a spouse or a roommate, to choose your preferred option. But to win this debate, you have to understand the specific cultural context of Canadian urban living. It's really not just about square footage. Take a look at this number right here, 93. This is an actual walk score for a property in the town of Mount Royal, or TMR, in Montreal. Now, in Canadian urban culture, having an exceptionally high walk score like this, it's an absolute game changer. It represents a massive shift in how you evaluate your quality of life. The Canadian mindset highly prioritizes transit-friendly amenities over simply owning a massive house out in the middle of nowhere. It's all about accessibility, convenience, and time management. And these are your secret weapons when you're building that argument. Look at these cultural touchstones. Proximity to the REM, which is a major rapid transit network. Walkability, or as we call it strategically, 不行业态, and commuting cost reduction, known as 出行成本. When you explicitly mention these factors, you aren't just reciting facts, right? You're actually proving to the examiner that you deeply understand how a transit-friendly property drastically improves daily quality of life, literally saving you from exhausting traffic and those skyrocketing gas prices. Moving on to Section 2, Common Traps and Strategies, Navigating the Minefield. Now, I absolutely need to warn you about the most fatal error candidates make when they're under pressure. Saying things like, your choice is terrible. This is the ultimate logical trap. Remember, the goal here is polite and effective communication. Directly insulting your partner's choice or just dismissing it entirely, that shatters the whole illusion of a collaborative discussion. And honestly, it will tank your score. You need a much more sophisticated approach than that. So here is your high score formula laid out step by step. Step 1 is concession, or 先让步. Step 2 is reversal, or 后反转. You absolutely must first validate their desire. If they want that suburban house, acknowledge it. Say you totally understand the appeal of having a large space. But then, you execute the reversal. You crush their argument, not with insults, but with undeniable, highly practical advantages of your choice. You yield first, and then you strike with logic. And that logic must be deeply rooted in needs alignment. Your arguments literally cannot just float in a vacuum. They've got to firmly align with realistic family needs. For example, don't just say, oh, the transit is good. Say that avoiding a long, exhausting drive preserves your energy for your daily creative work, or that it saves precious hours so you can efficiently shuttle the kids to their extracurriculars. You have to make those abstract benefits intimately personal. All right, Section 3, Vocabulary and Sentence Formulas, your high score toolkit. Let's rapidly fire off some essential idioms. If a place has great value, call it a steal, meaning 性价比提高. If it's centrally located, it's in the heart of the action. And my personal favorite for this contrast strategy is saying something will cost an arm and a leg. You can use this perfectly to highlight how the high costs of, say, maintaining 2 cars and paying separate utilities in the suburbs will literally cost an arm and a leg, which contrasts beautifully with an all-inclusive city apartment. Next up, lock these keywords into your memory right now. Amenities, utilities inclusive, transit-friendly. But I want you to pay special attention to this last one, maintenance-free. This is a brilliant keyword because it subtly highlights the hidden pains of suburban life. When you say an apartment is maintenance-free, you're instantly reminding your partner about the exhausting reality of shoveling driveway snow in the brutal Canadian winter, or spending their entire Sunday mowing some massive lawn. So, how do we actually string all this vocabulary together? Listen to this phrasing. I totally get why you're leaning towards the larger place, but hear me out. This is the absolute perfect execution of the concession step we mapped out earlier. It's polite, it completely validates their feelings, but that "but hear me out" part, that smoothly opens the door for your winning counterargument. Then, let's move right into the reversal. While the other option offers more square footage, this apartment saves us hours of commuting every week. This contrast formula beautifully pivots from their desire for space over to your winning argument about time. You're essentially comparing apples to oranges here, but you're making those oranges look so much sweeter by focusing on the ultimate luxury: time. Section 4. Practical simulation and breakdown, putting it all together. Okay, we've built the foundation, we've set up the traps, and we have our vocabulary toolkit ready to go. Now, it's time to take all these whiteboard notes and apply them to a practical 60-second simulation. Let's see what a perfect response actually sounds like in real time. Our ultimate underlying strategy for this simulation is defined right here: time value and hidden cost savings, or 时间价值隐性成本节约. We're taking on the role of the person convincing our partner to rent the TMR apartment instead of the suburban house. We are going to win this argument by proving to them without a doubt that time is money and convenience is king. Hey, I know we both loved the extra room for our workspace in the suburban house, but I really think the TMR apartment is a smarter choice. Notice how incredibly smoothly it uses that yield then reverse strategy right out of the gate. We acknowledge the shared desire for a workspace, which keeps the tone nice and collaborative, but then we immediately assert our own stance clearly and firmly. Next, we hit them with the actual data and the hidden costs. With its walk score of 93 and the REM just a 10-minute walk away, we wouldn't even need to rely on a car, which saves us a fortune on gas and parking. By plugging in these specific cultural data points, the walk score and the REM, we instantly justify the choice financially. We've taken the phrase transit-friendly and turned it into a massive, tangible financial win. Finally, we bring the whole thing home with needs alignment. Plus, being steps away from Rockland Center means our daily errands will be a breeze, giving us more quality time on weekends instead of driving around. We conclude this simulation breakdown by showing the ultimate benefit. We're replacing stressful driving time with precious weekend quality time. It creates this irresistible, highly persuasive argument that goes way beyond just talking about the walls of an apartment. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, incredibly powerful question to think about. Are you valuing square footage over your own time? When you frame your argument this way on the exam, using the concessions, the vocabulary, and the cultural context we've outlined today, you don't just give a good answer. You give an absolute masterclass in persuasion. Keep these strategies locked on your mental whiteboard, practice that yield and reverse, and you are going to communicate with absolute authority. Thanks for focusing in with me today, and keep practicing.